How we looking today?
Looking good, looking good.
How we smelling today?
No, we're smelling good. We're smelling good. Everyone
Damn.
showered, I think. Smells like it.
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
I took 2 before I came here.
It shows. It smells.
I appreciate that. How we sounding today, Chris?
Buddy, we're sounding amazing.
Amazing. We're sounding amazing. I love to hear it. Yes, yes. You already know what it is. You already know what you're tuned into. You already know what you're experiencing. It's the Mayor's Office Podcast by eBay. And I'm your host, Ralph, a.k.a. The Mayor, a.k.a. The Last Mayor Bender, a.k.a. Excited for spring. We had a rocky couple of days. It was getting really cold, but now...
Couple of days. It was longer than that.
It was brick. It was brick. I was trying to save us, but it was brick. But now I'm starting to see the 4 degrees. I'm starting to see the 5 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, less of the winter jackets, more of the bombers.
I had to take my jacket off while I was driving because it was too warm. It said 8 degrees in my car.
Yeah.
So that's how you know.
Come on. Once we see the double digits, we're back outside.
Time to get those knees out.
Come on.
Come on, show that thigh.
Come on. And I don't do this podcast by myself. I do it with 2 amazing gentlemen. I'm going to start with the person that's unpredictable. Actually, they're both unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get from the Mayor's Office Podcast. This gentleman right here, he might just say the N-word. You never know. But he's invited to every single cookout.
Whoa.
I like, don't put that on.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I gotta, keep them on their toes. You feel me? But Chris will never do that.
No, I've never even read the word in my head.
That's crazy. So what are you doing? It's hip hop time.
Honestly, I just hear a bleep.
Just naturally.
Yeah, just naturally. Just a little beep.
You know what? I get him from growing up in the church. It's just like there's a bleep in your head when curse words come.
Yeah.
And if you just block it out enough, it's just how it goes.
Someone says nigga, Chris said, no.
Not in these ears, baby.
The legend himself, the owner of 1990 Studios, Chris Stacks Edwards. Talk to him.
What's going on, people? It's the Mayor's Office Podcast. It's your boy, Stacks Edwards. We're in 1990 Studios, and we're ready to rock another one. Yo, feeling good, man. Feeling good. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
And this other gentleman here, man, he's just an amazing guy, man. He makes any outfit look good, man. The kids these days, they might call it glazing. But I grew up in the era where you can just say great things about your friend, okay? And it could be an unpredictable episode, this episode. Who knows, Chris? We already said what could be unpredictable. Adriel, he might say something nice about Kendrick Lamar. You never know what's going to happen on the Mayor's Office Podcast. But my OG, one of my closest friends, the MC at my potential wedding in whatever year that may be,
Allegedly.
Adriel, smiley.com. Talk to him.
Man, it feels good to be back. We are getting that spring. We're not there yet because it snows every year in April at the beginning. So once April comes and it doesn't snow, then I'll believe it. But Chris got us some great beverages for this show. We're not going to shout out where they're from. They're not sponsoring us. But this could be the best episode we've ever had.
You never know. You never know. There's a lot of episodes we've done where Ralph is drinking. There's even more episodes we've done where Chris and Ralph are drinking. But an episode where Chris, Ralph, and Adriel are drinking,
Rare.
you never know what's going to happen.
Rare.
Adriel,
Mm-hmm.
take us in the time machine, man.
Episode 72, so we're going back in time. Now that we're in the 70s, like I said, this is a time that I was looking forward to, okay? We got some good things happening, some great things happening. And before we get into this, travel back through time, I left out anything to do with the Irish and the Brits going at it, okay? When I was looking up what was going on, a ton of death and war and fighting between the Irish and the Brits. So if you're from one of those groups and you don't hear yourself mentioned in this travel back through time, I hear you, I see you, but I left that out completely. Not my fight, okay? Not my fight to get involved in. Let's start at the top, okay? We talked about this team before we even started recording. January 7th, 1972, the LA Lakers won their 33rd straight game. Longest win streak in major professional sports.
To this day?
To this day.
Crazy.
Let's give an applause for that. Like,
Also Lakers, man.
yeah. I remember a couple years ago when the Warriors, I think it was 24, 25 they had.
Yeah, they had a long streak.
They had a long streak that year.
The Heat, LeBron's Heat had a pretty long streak too, maybe 27 games, I believe.
Yeah, and those streaks felt like they just won for months on end. So
Yeah.
imagine how 33 games felt like with no internet. Like it is probably
Just reading the paper like, God damn.
every day, like, you know, so that must have been insane. This one I thought was interesting. February 1st, the first scientific handheld calculator was introduced. You guys want to guess the price on that one?
First scientific handheld calculator, 1972. Do you have the price on hand?
I have the price.
I'm going to say $200.
Ooh.
Chris, what do you got?
I'm gonna say $1,900.
$395.
$395.
300?
Yep,
I
$395.
thought I was going high with the 200.
Yeah.
Wow. I went way too high.
It's like, you know, we called you a nerd on a past podcast.
We did.
This is the definition of nerdom. Like, if you get a $400 calculator, nothing says nerd more than
I wonder how
that.
big it was. We should throw that in the video for everybody.
Yeah, it probably was a whole entire room just for the calculator. This next one, I think we can all say we're grateful for this. U.S. airlines begin mandatory inspection of passengers and baggage. 1972 is when that started. So think about all the years before that.
Crazy.
They weren't expecting passengers or baggage.
Just drugs and guns.
I'm sure they're inspecting some people. You know, we know who they're inspecting.
Yeah.
It looked a certain way.
For sure.
But making it mandatory, I thought was huge. This one, I feel like it doesn't feel like it's as much of an accomplishment anymore because it's been done a few times. But Wilt Chamberlain, the first player in NBA history to reach 30,000 career points.
Crazy. He's had a lot of firsts
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
time, for sure.
I saw this video the other day talking about teams trying to get him to play when he was in his 40s and 50s. He had retired. He actually retired in 72. But, you know, years after he was done, teams were trying to get him to come back in his 40s and 50s. I'm like, he must have been quite the athlete
Mhm.
to ask him to come back in his 40s and 50s. So,
There is a Reddit theory that Wilt froze his kids and LeBron James is one of his hidden children. And the government found Gloria James, paid her a couple bands.
Huh.
And that's how LeBron came about. That's why we can't find LeBron's pops. I'm just saying.
that actually is probably the most plausible scenario I've heard.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense why LeBron is 40 years old and still the best athlete right now.
Good genes.
Yeah, because he runs better than me.
Yeah.
And-
Spend $1 million on your body. That'll happen.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah,
True that.
yeah. We're working our way there. This one I thought was interesting. Sales of the Volkswagen Beetle exceeded those of the Ford Model T. Now, neither of those cars are highly sought after nowadays.
Yeah, when's the last time you saw a Beetle?
Couldn't even tell you. But to think that Beetle was a popular car in the 70s,
Yeah.
like those roads must have looked crazy.
It's just an iconic car, though.
You know, it
Yeah.
is. But
Unique.
like to think of like everyone driving one, that's what's kind of odd. Like, you know, a nice one or two is different, but like the whole city driving Beetles.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All with the little flowers in their front thing. Like, do you know? Have you seen that? They have the little flower in their front dash.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, not
Gross.
it. Not it. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. February 18th, California Supreme Court abolishes the death penalty. How do you guys feel about the death penalty?
Just for PDF files and murderers
Yeah.
and R words.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
racist. The other one.
Yeah.
With a P.
The hard R's.
Some of the
Some of the racists could probably get it. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm with you on the hard R's,
Yeah.
PDF files,
Yeah.
serial killers for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely murderers. Yeah.
Multi-murders. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say I missed those days, but I obviously wasn't there.
Crazy. They just like, oh, I can't wait.
But I think it just felt like there was more justice happening. Sometimes jail doesn't feel like enough justice,
Mhm.
and some of these families that lose people, go through a lot. It's like 50 years in jail is just not cutting it for
Especially when
me.
the person relished in
Yes.
Yeah.
the act of eliminating one of your family members, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think now that a lot of these criminals become famous in jail and get a lot of fanfare,
Yeah.
it's kind of like now they're living it up, quote unquote, off of what they did to your family. So you want to see them gone. I get it. I didn't know this. I'm learning as well, going through history. Richard Nixon becomes the first U.S. president to visit China.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I think with the relationship China and the U.S. have had over the past 5 years especially, very, very interesting.
China.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Speaking of Trump, I went to the LCBO and it was readjusting for sure. There was a lot of empty shelves.
Yeah.
For those that are listening currently, the tariffs have been imposed, and we're starting to make some adjustments. All the U.S. products are coming off the shelves.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you hear though? I did hear something that they might be pulling them back already
I can see that.
on 680 News. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna stay glued to that.
Put a tab on that.
Yeah. We're gonna see. We gotta see. You said you want some black facts. I got some black facts for
Black
you.
facts. Black facts.
Future Hall of Famer Hank Aaron.
No, the bumble clap for the black facts is hilarious.
No, I had to go past it. He became the first player to earn $200,000 in the MLB.
Sorry, who is this?
Hank Aaron,
Okay.
first player to earn $200,000, signs a 3-year deal. I did the calculations of what that would be. That's $1.5 million in today's money. But the MLB had no salary cap at that time, and they were fighting for a salary cap. The average salary for a player was $146,000. So he was,
Making bang.
well above, but
Still seems short if it's only 1 point something now.
yeah, it
You
still
know?
seems like it's not enough.
But they probably weren't making as much money back then.
That's fair too.
For sure. A different time. This is a movie that I have not seen, and I want to apologize in advance, but it came out this year, and this is The Godfather.
Wow. I haven't seen any of them.
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah, I know. I need to take a whole weekend.
It's definitely an entire weekend.
know,
bro. Good breaks in between.
Yeah,
Gotta go for a walk in between.
Yeah.
Exactly. I need a good 96 hours
Yeah.
just to lock in. So at some point, I'll watch them, come back with my review. But 1972, The Godfather. This one is for Chris because there's some trivia going with this one. Bobby Hull became the second player in NHL history to score 600 goals. Do you know who was the first?
600 goals, 72, Bobby Hall.
It's an easy one.
Am I overthinking it?
Yep.
No, it's not the great one.
No,
'cause that's
No,
later.
no, no,
yeah,
no.
the
Way later.
first
The first.
person.
Is it Bobby Orr?
Bobby Hull was the second to score
Okay.
600. Who's the first?
I don't think it was Bobby Orr because Bobby Orr was after.
Yeah, yeah. When I tell you who it is, you're gonna hate yourself.
Did he play for the Leafs?
No.
Gordie Howe?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow. Give yourself a sound
Nice,
effect.
nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's
It's like, yeah.
that was an easy one.
That's for me.
He actually got inducted into the Hall of Fame
Shout out to that.
that same year.
For sure.
That makes me feel like he really played a million years ago.
Yeah.
That he went into the Hall of Fame in 72 is like
Yeah. I think he played till he was like 50 because he played with his kids too.
both of them. Yeah,
Yeah. Which is nuts.
And his kids actually played not like Bronny,
Yeah. No.
respectfully.
no,
but-
respectfully.
American basketball player John Sebastian makes 63 consecutive free throws while blindfolded.
Wow.
I don't even know why this was in there. This felt so random.
Yo, we should try that this summer.
Yeah.
I get some extra pod shit.
Yeah.
How much free throws can you make blindfolded? How many free throws?
Is that straight?
Straight. 63 straight blindfolded.
Probably 6 or 7.
I could probably go 2 or 3 blindfolded.
I think I could.
Blindfolded is a lot.
I think I could do 6 or 7.
Well, how many? How many not blindfolded? Like realistic,
Free throws?
Yeah.
Me? I can give you maybe 25.
Yeah, not blindfolded a lot, but blindfolded.
I was never a good free throw shooter, so
I was gonna say, how long do you think it would take you to do 25 straight? If you miss, you got to start again. You think you just do it right away?
nah, it'll probably take me maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Ooh,
Max?
maybe
25 straight's a lot, actually. Let me not say that. 25 straight's a lot.
I think I
that's-
could do it.
Okay,
We're doing it this summer.
Yo, we're
right.
doing this summer. I think we put a little
Yeah.
bread on it.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll rent a gym and everything.
Shot for shot. Let's do
man,
it.
All right,
Let's
say
do it.
less.
Yeah, we haven't hooped in a while.
A long time.
We haven't hooped in a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. Yo, how's your game looking these days?
Better. I'm in good shape now. Pandemic? I don't know. I was barely getting up off the ground.
But who would you compare your game to in the league to how you were playing before?
Now
Yeah.
I'd probably say maybe like a current CP.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna give you a little bit of everything, but I'm not there where I used to be.
Yeah.
But the IQ is there.
It's funny.
Player coach.
My comp is also an old player. I say my comp is now Dame.
Okay.
I'm only shooting deep tray balls, and if the lane is open, I'm driving.
I feel
I'm
that.
not doing any contact in the lane.
I feel that.
But if the lane is open, you're getting a layup.
I'm not mad at that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
I'll give you like a quick Linsanity, nothing short. Nothing
Lin Sandy
crazy.
better than both of us right now.
A little spurt.
Yeah, a little spurt, and then
Oh
That's it.
my goodness. We got some sad news.
Okay.
Okay, September 5th, 11 Israeli athletes are taken hostage and later killed by the Palestinian Black September group at the Munich Olympics.
Oh shit, that's what the Ben Affleck movie was based off of, right?
Yep. I actually saw it at a pre-screening, wrote a little review on it, and it's sad to say it's a very good movie. It's told from the perspective of the actual broadcast crew. But the thing that I remember about this movie is like how different the world was at that time, because this is the first like big event in Germany since the Holocaust. So everyone was kind of on their toes.
And then look what happens.
And then, yeah. And the big part of that movie was that they got the news wrong. They reported that all the hostages were safe and sound, and it was actually false, and they were all killed. And the government kind of tricked the reporters into thinking that they were safe when
Damn.
they weren't. And it was a big black mark on Germany and the Palestinian terrorists, because everyone kind of felt like they didn't care about the Israeli
Notice how
athletes.
Germany's been pretty quiet ever since then.
You know, they're on their best behavior.
Yeah, they can't step out of line, dude.
Yeah. This one I felt like was for this pod specifically. We got a little crossover here. Police find cannabis growing on Paul and Linda McCartney's farm.
Oh wow.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed.
That'd be dope to have a weed farm.
Keyword dope.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, Richard Nixon is reelected, winning in 49 states. Yeah, talk about a landslide.
Yeah, and then didn't he like a year or two later he was like
He was out of there.
impeached?
It's crazy because he was going against someone who was very much against the Vietnam War. So it's crazy he won 49 states. Everyone voted for the Vietnam War. Crazy. Crazy.
And that was the first year he went to China. He was the first president to go to China that year too.
Yep.
Okay.
These American people do crazy things with their votes.
Anything for that bag, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's like 50 years of history of letting us know the Americans vote for crazy people.
Oh, that's crazy.
Checks out.
Adriel, I appreciate you taking us down that time machine. I would say trip down memory lane, but none of us were born then.
None of us were there.
So I appreciate that. Gentlemen, this is usually the time in the podcast where we do some catching up, but fuck it. I have something that came to my attention. I have something that came to my attention. I learned a new fact.
Ooh.
All right. Learned this from TikTok. It's very plausible. It's actually real. People have been talking about it. Huge Discord over it. And we don't have to go too deep on it, but here it is. Did you guys know that Jamaican women lead the entire world in paternity fraud? I had no idea.
Could you describe paternity fraud for the people?
Having a child and leading that man on to believe that he is the father of that child. Yikes. Only to find out that he is not the father of that child.
Interesting. Now, I don't have any Jamaican women in my life who I think can speak to what you're speaking to, so I'm going to tread lightly.
I don't either.
I'm going to tread lightly. But somehow this doesn't surprise me.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
And I think this has more to do with Jamaican men than Jamaican women, because what is going on with Jamaican men that they are believing this over and over again? You know, this is maybe more about Jamaican men's sexual behavior. That's what I think is behind this. If you're gonna like,
it's a combination of both
if you're gonna dig deeper into what's going on here, I think there's something to do with it where, you know, maybe Jamaican men's sexual behavior just hasn't believed it. You know, maybe it could be.
I think Jamaica just has a decent bun culture. And I'm not just talking about bun and cheese. They have a decent bun culture. And that goes for both genders. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Like
you know what? No, that's not all I'm going to say about that. The only other caveat I'll say to that is the research is showing that, and we know that there's probably not enough resources for everybody to afford paternity tests. So if they're already leading now, can you imagine if everybody was taking paternity tests? That's all I'm going to say.
You know who I want to hear from on this topic? The woman who I went on a blind date with. I think this would be the moment when we should have brought in an expert to see what she thinks.
We should have asked Alicia.
Yeah.
We should call her up.
Yeah.
Probably won't pick up.
Yeah, I think maybe for next week we'll check back in.
Yes.
But I think that's who I want to hear from and see if they have any insight. You know, are they seasoned in this maneuver? Are they familiar with this? So,
Okay. All right. I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention.
Thank you.
It's good information for you to know.
I think it's just a lot of love down there, you know?
That's all it is. It's
a lot of love.
It's warm outside.
Yeah.
It's warm outside. It's crazy.
That makes sense.
I think people are more active when it's hot out.
Yeah.
Personally.
You're feeling good. Sun's out.
I'm more active when it's hot out. When it's winter time, I'm not trying to get it popping.
No, vitamin D, you know? Then you give them
more than one way.
Yeah. Figure it out.
Not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
That's funny.
Gentlemen, the listeners did not know what we got up to in the last couple of days.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
We were recently brought on as guests on the Uncommon Sense podcast. Give it up for the Uncommon Sense podcast, man. Shout out to them. You guys want to talk about your experience being guests on another podcast?
First time for all of us, not the first time for myself.
Well, of course.
Of course. But I think the best part was, of course, learning about, you know, their production, how they do things.
Stealing ideas?
We'll call it linking and building.
Linking and building.
We're doing some linking and building. But it was seeing Ralph find his long-lost treacherous twin.
Yes. Shout out to Castro, man. That's my guy right there.
So I want to give like a disclaimer for the whole GTA at this point. If you see Ralph and Castro in the same building, under the same ceiling, inside the same four walls, nothing good is about to happen. So I just want to let you guys know from now, if you see those two together, anything is possible.
Nah, man. Shout outs to Castro. Shout outs to X. Shout outs to Mitch. Castro is my devious twin.
100%.
We're about the same height. We have the same level of grime in our soul. The same level of dog in our bones.
Yeah.
But that's my guy right there. But yeah, Chris, how do you feel about Uncommon Sense being on there?
I liked it. Different, just a different vibe, but I think it meshed really well just with the conversation. But it's kind of cool to like step into like another person's world or another podcast world for a minute. And then, like you said, from the production, I mean, just, you know, seeing how they do things. You know, I was just, you know, peeping the cameras, peeping the production stuff.
About that, the MCU crossover. You know? We should have got a picture of that and then put it beside the Spider-Man meme. Like, that would have been...
So, Uncommon Sense, they have another, like, version of Chris. He's not, like, on the pod, but he does what Chris does to an extent. And they were talking a lot, and I was sitting back, and I'm like, yo, this is weird as fuck. Because they're both about the same height, just like me and Castro.
Yeah.
That's your technical twin.
Yeah,
like, that's my devious. That's your technical. So like, yeah, you guys are both just white guys with beards that just fuck with hip hop culture and just run podcast studios, and like it was weird to me.
It's weird to me. I mean, I don't know. He seemed like a nice guy though.
You know, he's a great guy. Shout out to James. Shout out to James.
No, it was honestly funny to see because it felt like, you know, if we ever are down a man, like.
No.
Nah, we can never replace.
You know what I mean? But that's what it felt like, especially with you and Castro, and then him and James.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be a weird switch.
One episode is just like Castro as the mayor.
Yeah, it's like when Family Guy and The Simpsons had their little crossover episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was feeling.
Yeah, me and Castro are Bart.
100%.
Springfield and Shelbyville.
No fucking
oh my goodness,
Chris.
Yes, sir.
I need you to do something for me, man.
It depends.
All right, so what I need you to do is do a blind rank for the people. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I am a man that enjoys fast food, okay? Multiple types of fast food. I know it's not the best for me, but damn it, I love it. All these fast food spots, they come with fries. A lot of these fries, they're signature fries. You know what I mean?
They always call them signature fries.
Yeah.
To me, they got a place in my heart.
Okay.
So I want to see if these fries have a place in your heart, Chris. Chris, I need you to blind rank these fast food fries. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. First one is Wendy's.
4.
Wendy's at 4.
Yeah, their fries are not memorable.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they're whatever.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The next one is Burger King.
5. I'm trying to even remember. I don't even know when the last time I had Burger King, but I'll say
no.
I'll say 5. We'll say 5.
I want to say this though: Burger King is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I like the Burger King fries, but the food is garbage to me. Yeah,
Now
I
I'm
agree.
rethinking.
When the fries are the best thing there, that lets you know.
You go to a burger spot and the fries are the best.
Yeah,
So
Good
and
point.
the name of the place is called Burger King.
Another
So
good point.
like,
Another
you
good
know,
point.
You're not coming in for the fries, buddy.
yeah.
Next one I got is Chick-fil-A.
We'll put Chick-fil-A at 3.
3? Okay. McDonald's.
I mean, they were solid. I'll put them at 1.
McDonald's fries are really good. I would probably put them at 1 too if I was doing this blind
When they're
rank.
fresh?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say next.
Yeah.
Is they got like an 8-minute lifetime, and if you don't eat them in the car,
Yeah.
they're toast.
Yeah.
And the last one you have here is A&W fries. So those are going to go at number 2.
Yeah, I guess that's going at number 2.
Okay.
Honestly, I think you got it right. Like, I think you did get it right. Personally,
So you had McDonald's at 1, A&W at 2. I believe you had Chick-fil-A at 3,
yeah,
Wendy's at 4,
Yeah.
and Burger King at 5.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm a
that
fries
checks out.
connoisseur, and I somewhat agree with you. I'd probably put Chick-fil-A at 2, Wendy's at 3, Burger King at 4, A&W at 5 personally. But
Yeah.
I like your list.
Thinking of Lattice, I would probably put them at 1, 2. 1 or 2.
Okay.
I agree with that. I made a misrank, but pretty close.
Okay, that's not bad.
I'll roll
Okay.
with it.
That's
Not
not
bad.
bad.
Not bad.
You did good. You did good.
Mhm.
All right, gentlemen. Is it okay if we step into the music room?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. I was in the shower.
Okay.
Spotify started playing some songs for me, and I sat back and I listened, right? And a song came on from the Carters, okay? And I sat back and I wondered to myself, wow, well, I didn't sit back. I was in the shower. The water was trickling down, but the music was so good. So I listened to the Carters album as it was playing, and I really thought to myself, Jay-Z has a really good collab album discography. Like, out of a lot of artists, I would say his collab game is really good. So I sat there and I thought to myself, Jay-Z has the Carters album, which is him and Beyonce, very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
He also has Watch the Throne, which is one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time.
Yeah.
And then he also has a written testimony with Jay Electronica. That's a pretty good collab discography.
That's a good one.
So it made me want to ask you guys, which artists out there have really good collab discographies?
I think that's obviously a good one.
Yeah.
Like, I would put Jay number 1, but my number 2, and maybe he doesn't count because he's not a rapper, would be Metro Boomin. Because him and Nav, I'm not a big Nav fan, but that's probably Nav's best project to me.
Okay.
Him and Big Sean have a really good project. Him
Future?
and Future, he probably gave us
Multiple.
Future's best albums.
21.
21's best project. So I think maybe he should be higher than Jay-Z because these are some of these artists' best work. I don't think anyone would say that Jay-Z's collab albums are his best albums. They're still good,
No, yeah, for sure.
but I wouldn't say they're Jay-Z's best albums.
I agree with that. It is cheating a little bit to use a producer,
100%.
but those are all quality albums that you made
Mhm.
mention of. So what about you, Chris? What you got?
I probably, honestly, I mean, if I'm gonna go, I'll take it back to like even like Wu-Tang with like Only Built for Cuban Links, Raekwon,
Yeah.
Capadonna. Yeah, man, Wu-Tang's got. I mean, it's kind of hard because they're like a group, right?
I'm like, yeah,
True.
that-
Can you really count that?
I was saying that doesn't really count to me when you're collabing in the group.
Yeah.
Because would you count the Takeoff Quavo album as a collab album?
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe not.
Take Off and Quavo? Yeah, I would.
Wait,
I would.
yeah,
I wouldn't.
but it's only 2 out of the 3.
I feel like if you're collabing inside your group, like for example, if you have a bigger collective, like say it's ASAP, and it was an ASAP Rocky, ASAP Ferg album,
Yeah.
I wouldn't count that
Really?
because
So
you're
if it was Beyonce and Kelly, you wouldn't count that as a collab album?
no.
What about Odd Future? What about?
That's a big group though.
Yeah, but so-
You're talking about trios?
It's ASAP Mob.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay, so you wouldn't count.
I wouldn't because these are people
So
who
Earl
already.
and Tyler linking up is not
It's not a collab
Is not a
album?
collab.
Ah,
That's a collab now for
I
me.
think that's a collab.
especially
No,
nowadays.
Oh, now it's different. 'cause Odd
Maybe
Future's not a
now,
thing.
but why I'm saying I wouldn't count it originally is because you already collab with these artists like
Regularly.
This is what you
Yeah.
already collab with. Maybe they don't all make it on the song, but it's like you already collab with these people. A real collab album is like I'm stepping outside the box to do
So
something.
what about Watch the Throne then? They collabed a lot before it.
But I think when the time it happened in their careers,
They're both like separate
they were
entities?
yeah. Because I think if it happened when he put out Blueprint, like the first Blueprint, then Blueprint 2, then we would have said, okay, it's not as much of a collab album because Kanye's producing for him all the time. They're always together.
Oh, okay.
It was 2011 at that time.
Kanye
Kanye
was established.
Yeah.
on his
what
own,
you're saying.
Jay-Z's
Yeah.
on his own. So
Okay.
it was kind of the meeting of the minds to come back together.
That's
so
fair.
that's just me though. I understand if you don't want to count like that, but I think you got to take out the groups that are already
Okay.
doing
So
stuff
I would
together.
put Kanye on that list as somebody that has a really good collab album discography because he has Watch the Throne.
Okay.
He has the album with Kid Cudi. What's it
Oh
called
yeah,
again?
Kids See Ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, Kids See Ghosts was very quality
Solid.
and
Yeah,
slept
that
on.
was good. That was good.
And I'm missing one. I think he has one more.
Cruel Summer. Are you counting Cruel Summer?
That's tough. Nah, that's like posse cuts. That's tough. That's tough.
We're getting in the weeds.
Now we're getting in the weeds.
Are you counting him and Ty Dolla $ign?
Yes, that's a collab album. to me.
Vultures?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Yeah.
completely forgot about that. And then Drake. Drake has a lot of collab
Yeah,
albums
we,
as well.
we went far without mentioning
True.
Drake. You know who we actually should have on this list, but they mostly collab with one person is Wiz and Currency.
Yeah.
True.
I think,
That goes against what you're saying, I feel.
but they're not a group. They're two solo
Yeah,
artists.
They're not a group, but like they were like
collab.
they were like coming
Were they
up.
under the same label when they were
both-
connecting?
Weren't they
No.
both? They weren't both Rostrum.
No, they weren't. They weren't in the
Or
same
Taylor
label.
Gang?
No, because Currency was Young Money and Wiz was Rostrum.
Okay.
They collab often. Listen, they do collab. It's kind of like Future and Metro. They collab very often,
Okay.
but they're technically two solo artists who come together.
Okay. If they're separate entities, then I count it.
Yeah, so I would say they got to be up there as a group, and this group that we're never gonna see again, Gunna and Lil Baby.
True. How many collab albums do they have together? Just one?
Just one.
But it was a quality one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
I love a
lot
good
of
collab
ones.
album, especially when it's two people you don't really expect as much.
Like recently with 2 Chainz, Larry June, and Alchemist.
Alchemist?
that's
yeah,
a
that's
good
been
one.
that's a
Wow, that's a
quality. Yeah, I've been
banger.
bumping that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
Start to
same.
finish.
Like top to bottom is
Yeah.
quality.
100%.
I like the way Larry June raps.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't
bro.
know if a lot of people are talking about it, but the
They're
nigga's
not.
just chilling, bro. Like you
Bro.
could just smoke on a summer day and play Larry June in the background.
100%, 100%.
And he has great beat selection too.
Great beat selection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like lounge, the yacht music. That's
That's
it's
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I've never really been on a yacht, so that's your
No.
lifestyle.
I've been on a cruise. Just back out.
Pontoon boat.
Screaming. But you know who I thought of him like?
Mhm.
He kind of reminds me of Big Sean, but Big Sean is trying to like show off his bars more. But it's like the same type of energy of like, I'm cool, I'm chill.
True.
But Big Sean is more trying to show off, and Larry June is more like laid back. It's like if they were brothers and Big Sean's a braggadocious sibling, and Larry June is a laid back
showing.
sibling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Larry June's like that cool kid in like your high school class. It's always like chilling at the back,
Yeah.
sunglasses on. Might have been smoking out. Nonchalant.
Doesn't piss
Nonchalant.
anybody off.
Nah, can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You listeners, you guys gotta listen to Larry June, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
I like the collab album. No, good. I like the collab album when you get music that no one would do on their own. Like 2 Chainz, I don't think would make the album on his own. And
No.
Larry June probably wouldn't make the album on his own. It's closer to Larry June than it is to 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely a lot on this album that Larry June wouldn't do without 2 Chainz.
Can I be honest with you guys?
What?
Please.
I think 2 Chainz has one of the most underrated discographies in hip hop.
Discography.
Yes, underrated. Trust me, he has some tapes
You're not
that
wrong.
came out in between 2010 and 2020
Yeah.
that are fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fire.
yeah,
Well, when
yeah.
that rebrand happened, he came out with like a force. I
Oh
feel
no,
like.
the hits that came out during that
Yeah.
time was
But-
crazy.
but he has, like,
after the
albums.
hits,
He has
he
albums.
has some tapes that are like, yo,
Pretty Girls Like Trap Music.
no,
Yeah.
that album is like top level. For sure.
Yeah. I think 2 Chainz is probably like, I don't want to say he's underrated because I actually agree with you,
Mhm.
but he almost seems too popular to be underrated. But I know what you're saying. People don't know him that he has like this quality of music and
Yes.
the bars.
Yeah,
But he probably is one of the best mixes from an artist of having hit records and a quality discography and having like really good B-sides. I think a lot of people who have his hits don't have the full catalog that he does. So I think he's probably in like a space of his own. Like there's not many guys who have that full
I
catalog.
have a lot of respect for 2 Chainz when he's not like hit chasing. Like he's that's my version of 2 Chainz that I
Yeah.
listen to.
He's another one who I feel like make a good beat selection too.
He has really good beat
Yeah.
selection.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like surprisingly more versatile than you realize.
Oh, for
Especially
sure.
the Larry June project.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
really made me realize.
100%.
Mhm. we're talking about like projects I didn't like from collab, artists. Him and Lil Wayne, I thought I would like that album a lot more than I did. I didn't like either of them. The 2 Chainz Lil Wayne collabs.
Yeah.
There were some records, but I thought I would like it way more. And then the Lil Uzi Future collab.
Yeah.
I was cool on that.
What's the best collab album that you guys ever heard? Hip hop.
Okay, so we're not counting Black Star.
Black Star is the best hip hop album I ever heard. Period.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's my favorite hip hop album.
That was I would put at like number 1. But if we're not counting Black Star, because they're technically a group, I got 2 answers. One would be Watch the Throne. I think that album is super underrated. Like even when you hear it now, the probably the most skippable song on that album is Ham. And Ham used to go up.
Ham was probably the biggest song on it too at the time. Yeah.
But for me, honestly, it's probably Kids See Ghosts. Like Kids See Ghosts to me is quality.
It is a good one.
I think that album aged so good, and at the time it was just so much going on. People had such high expectations. It was just a lot of like noise around the making of the project. But if you hear that album now, just the music itself,
it's good.
It can stand. So I would say I'm choosing 2 Kanye albums, so maybe that's cheating in a way. Because I don't want to choose a Metro album. I don't think any of the Drake collabs are up there for me. A Written Testimony is up there, but I would say Kids See Ghosts or Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? What you got?
Those are good ones. Honestly, I'll take it back to I know one artist carried it a little more, I'd say. But like Father, Like Son, Birdman, Lil Wayne.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That was a great.
People don't talk about that album as much anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, Stunned Like My Daddy. What else is on there? There's a bunch.
Yeah.
That's a good album.
That's a lot of stuff on there. And my thing is, you're not counting like the Freddie Gibbs Madlib stuff? Like, is that?
That's what I was wondering too.
No,
like,
I can't do the producers. Yeah, I'm trying to go 2 rappers as collabs in my opinion.
Yeah, because I'm taking out Method Man, Redman. Like, I'm not counting that.
The niggas are practically brothers.
Well, I want to take that against what you said earlier because technically Redman is not part of Wu-Tang.
Yes,
so I think you can put that in if we're going by your logic.
You're right.
Drop a sound effect.
You're right.
Drop one of Clues bombs.
One of Clues bombs. All right, you got something there. St. Elsewhere, Gnarls Barkley.
Okay.
That has a case. That has a case. And in terms of best collab album,
Damian Marley and Nas.
Yes, that has a case too.
That was a good vibe.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Good collabs, man. You guys use your Spotify, man. Use your Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you identify with, and tell us what you think is the best collab album.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. I you know what I've realized though, at least in recent history, the producer collab with an artist is almost guaranteed to be a good project. I think sometimes some artists, they get carried away, do too much, but the producer artist collab, like Freddie Gibbs is a good example, K Tremine is a good example,
Hit Boy Nas,
yeah.
Yeah, you
Grammy.
Just one artist, one producer. At least in the past 5 years, it's been like a recipe for success.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments. You got a favorite? We want to hear it.
Definitely. I like the music room, guys, but something in me, after we started talking about the blindfolded free throw shooting contest, I just been wanting to talk about sports. Is that okay?
Oh, I love it.
All right, sounds good. There's a lot of NBA players out there that draft time comes up and we think their projections are going to be high,
Yeah.
The number 1 pick, we think they're going to be elite. And maybe they end up having solid careers. What I want to talk to you guys about are the players that they didn't quite live up to the hype, but they had solid careers. Can you guys tell me, if I name you some players, if they lived up to the hype or if they fell short of the hype? In your personal opinion, all right? Because I trust you guys, all right?
Let's hear it.
All right, we're going to start with the guards first. You ready? That lived up to the hype or maybe didn't. Penny Hardaway.
He lived up to the hype.
You think so?
Yeah. Like, before we even go further, I think injuries is a big part of probably a lot of people you're going to name.
Yeah.
So it almost depends when the injury happened. Before the injury, he lived up to the hype. Made the finals, outdid Jordan in terms of votes in the All-Star game, like had a very popular shoe.
Yeah.
So if I'm going off of what he actually did before he got injured and it like went south, He lived up to the hype.
Okay. How good do you think Penny would have been if he lived up to the hype? The next Magic Johnson?
I don't know about that because he already wasn't there, but I think he would have been a clear Hall of Famer for sure.
Okay. All right. Next one, Steve Francis.
Ooh, Steve Francis. I was a big Steve Francis fan. I would say he didn't live up to the hype. He was in an era in the NBA where guys fell off like so fast. It's like 1 year they're an all-star, the next year they're not even starting. There was no gradual fall off in those days, it felt like. So he didn't live up to the hype.
Okay. Gilbert Arenas.
He didn't live up to the hype. It was too short-lived.
Too short-lived. Too many guns.
Too many guns.
Joe Johnson.
I would say he didn't live up to the hype, actually.
Really? I was going to say he did.
I don't think he did because if you go back, let's just go back in time for a second, okay? Yes. Phoenix Joe Johnson.
Yeah. Run and gun Suns.
And everyone thought it was a travesty that he got traded and ended up on the Hawks. What we thought Joe Johnson was going to be when he was on Phoenix, he was good, but he never challenged for an MVP, never was a top 10 guy, really.
But Hawks Joe Johnson was a problem.
No, he was very good. He was very good, but I think people thought he was going to be like challenging for best player in the league, or at least best at his position type of player. He was almost like a DeMar DeRozan of his era. Like very solid, very good, but never felt elite. So I think if you go back to Phoenix, people thought he was going to be elite for sure.
He could give a big dog in the league 30, but he's not a big dog himself.
Yes,
I understand. Alpha on some nights.
On some nights.
I got you.
Nights.
Last guard I got here is Tyreek Evans.
Oh my goodness. Definitely no for this one. But people thought Tyreek Evans was the 1, not the 2.
I mean, amazing rookie year.
Yeah. That was a crazy one. I don't even know what happened to him.
Do you feel like Sacramento stunted his development?
I don't know if I could.
It was a bad time for Sacramento.
It was, but like, I don't know. I don't know if I can blame Sac for that one because I think he had chances other places and it still didn't work out. So
okay.
Yeah. No,
I got some names that are really going to shock some of the audience because as a millennial, these are some players that I've been thinking about for a long time.
Let's hear it.
Danny Granger.
Wow. This is a big injury one. Danny Granger used to be nice.
Yeah.
Like, Danny Granger used to be the player that me and my cousin would bring up to see like how much someone knew ball.
Yeah.
We're like, whatever you think about Danny Granger, that's what we could tell if you're watching or not.
He was one of those guys that he had 3 straight years where he went up by 5 points. Like he went from 15 to 20 to 25. So I'm thinking Paul George is coming into his own. Him and Danny are going to be elite.
Yep.
But the injuries just fucked him, man.
And I think that team probably would have, I don't want to say they would have beat the Heat, but would have had a better chance.
If Danny was healthy?
If he was what he was supposed to be.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin.
I'm a big Blake Griffin fan. So I don't want to say he didn't live up to the hype because he had, like, if you look at his career, he's probably going to the Hall of Fame. So to say that, like, a Hall of Famer, you know, what he achieved, like, he made All-NBA when he was with Detroit.
100%.
He had some moments.
Like 7, 8-time All-Star.
Yeah, so I can't say he didn't live to that. I think he did. Like, he came third in MVP once, made All-NBA a bunch of times. First rookie to make the All-Star game in, I think, 20 years.
Yeah, he had an amazing rookie season. Brought LA Clippers to, like, some type of relevance.
No, he's the reason, like, LA is anything right now.
100%.
You know, like, Chris Paul doesn't go there if Blake's not there.
Yeah, and without Blake, Chris, and DeAndre, who knows of them getting Steve Ballmer to buy?
Yeah.
Or getting Paul George and getting Kawhi. Like, it started with Blake, if we're keeping it honest.
So, yeah, I would say he did.
Okay.
I would say he did.
Lamar Odom.
Ooh, you're choosing some of my favorite players.
Right on.
I would say that he didn't, and I'll say why they say he didn't. Because
talk to me.
The high school Lamar Odom, people thought he was gonna be like 10-time All-Star, could be a face of the league somehow. And to be fair, he was a great player, champion, you know, very impactful player. But I think people saw more individual success for him in his career. I think when he got drafted and he was coming up, if you ask someone in that moment what Lamar Odom would have been, they would have said, oh, he's making at least 5 All-Star teams and averaging 25.
Did he make one?
I don't think he made an All-Star team, yeah.
But 2-time champion, 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
If you were Lamar Odom and I walked up to you and asked you if you had a successful career, what would you say?
I would think he said that he did. I think, again, all the winning that he did, the success that he had, that I feel like means successful career.
Okay.
And he was respected by his peers.
He was. Lamar could give you 20 at any night. He can give you 10 rebounds any night or 10 assists any night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carlos Boozer.
Oh, wow.
That's the last one I got.
I think he did. I was never a big Boozer guy. But if you look what Boozer accomplished in his career, people really forget how much he did. Like, he was the big name free agent when he went to Chicago.
Yeah.
It's funny because everyone was like hating on him when he got there. But he was like, oh my God, we got Boozer. Like, that was the big
20
deal.
and 10 guy in Utah.
Yeah.
Cleveland probably regretted trading him at the time.
Yeah.
Because Bron and Boozer would have been a good combination.
So I would say, yeah, like, what I really think is that he probably is remembered unfavorably because of what happened in Chicago. And he wasn't a defensive player. They were a defensive team.
Yeah.
But he was really good. He was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adriel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your whole list?
That's my list, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't see no Anthony Bennett.
Oh, man.
I mean,
that
throw a
would've been-
Canadian in there.
That would have been a definite.
Yeah.
Shout out to Anthony Bennett. I saw him at a club like last year or 2 years ago.
How did he look? Great shape?
He was in good shape. Yeah.
I think he's playing overseas right now.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to bring a list to you a couple episodes from now of a group of players of like one level below those type of players.
Okay.
Like the Stromile Swifts of the world, the Bonzi Wells.
Got you. I also saw, speaking of Canadian players, last year I saw Andrew Nicholson at the club.
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't looking great.
Oh my
Wasn't looking
goodness.
great. But he's getting older though too, so no knock on him.
Not that old, but yeah.
Tried to shoot him some bail.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Nicholson.
Yeah, that was a good list. There's a player who I think we might add to this list going forward.
Who's that?
And that's Joel Embiid.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think personally, I'm not gonna add him to the list because you know how I feel about Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
But season-ending surgery is coming for him.
Yeah.
It seems like this is gonna be. People are calling this the end of his career. I don't think it's the end of his career. I think he will play again. But there is that stat going around that he's missed 49% of available games, including what he's set to miss this season. That's 50%. We'll call it what it is. Missing half of your games in a 10-year career.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you put your GM hat on?
Let's hear it.
If you were the GM of the 76ers, what are the first 3 things you do in the offseason?
Can I ask you a question? What pick do I have in the draft? That's what's important.
We're going to say that you guys have a low lottery pick, which is likely to happen, 10 to 14.
Okay, I got 10 to 14. The first thing I'm doing is if I can get Embiid's contract voided with a retirement clause, that's the first thing I'm doing. Like, we're just...
Realistically, what are you doing?
That's realistic. Like,
they're not going to do that.
That's realistic. If he can't play for a year, that's a real option they have.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what... Once they find out how long he'll be out for the surgery, if it's a certain amount of time, they do have the option to take his money off the books. So if I have that option, I'm taking that money off the books.
You have to.
Oh, you mean to what's the word I'm looking for? When they like break down your contract and you just pay him off year by year?
No.
Like what they do with Luol Deng?
No, that's a stretching the contract. He'll have an actual ability for him to take the money off. Like, he'll still get paid, but it won't be on their books and part of the cap. Because
Isn't that what happened with Luol? Like, it was off the cap, but they just like split. It was like 30 million, and they just kept giving him like 7 a year.
No, that's when your contract is stretched.
Oh, okay.
So his will be more because if he's out for a certain amount of time, it's a year is the number.
To just take him off the books completely.
Off the books completely.
Okay.
He'll still get paid, but it'll be off our books.
Okay, so that's step 1.
Step 2,
Make him retired.
who wants Paul George? You get Paul George and you get the podcast. Okay, if you want Paul George, I'm shopping Paul George. I don't know if I'll sweeten the deal with putting a pick in there. I don't know if I want to do that, but I don't need to take back that much good stuff. I just need to get rid of Paul George. Okay, and I'm looking for young players. That would be what I want. Send away Paul George. Give me back young players.
Okay, so Embiid off the cap.
Yep.
Young players for Paul George.
Yep.
What's step 3?
And
This is your final step, by the way.
Yeah. Step 3 is I am keeping around the good vets that we have. Okay, so Kyle Lowry getting re-signed. Okay, Eric Gordon getting re-signed. We're gonna have a young team. That's clear. If I get rid of Embiid and Paul George and have a young team, I need good vets around. So I'm re-signing my good vets, and I'm bringing in my young players, and we're going forward like that. Maxey is our go-to guy. Jared McCain is our number 2.
Forgot about McCain.
You know, whoever we drafted is in the fold as well.
Another good brand of fries that we should have mentioned as well, McCain.
Not fast food, but yes.
Fair.
Frozen.
Not frozen.
No?
Not they are frozen.
Okay.
But that's what I would do is we're trying to become a young team and then keep some good vets around to kind of teach them the way, because I think Embiid had been a bad example for the young guys. There's been a couple stories coming out about not being a good leader.
I'd agree with that.
So just change the culture of Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, guys who've had success in the league, been far in the playoffs, been professionals. Teach the young guys how to move.
Okay. That is Adriel's 3-step plan to fixing the Sixers. I like that.
Yeah. Last but not least, though, and this one goes for both of you guys. If Embiid's career is done today, is he a Hall of Famer?
One MVP, never made a conference finals. In the NBA, didn't win anything. Crept up to get on a stacked Team USA to get a gold. I'm going to say no.
7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defense, 2-time scoring champ, 1 MVP.
When you put it like that, it's tough. Because here's the thing. There's people that have done less that made it to the Hall of Fame.
The person I think of is Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady had a lot of great individual success, not a lot of playoff success. Tracy McGrady's a Hall of Famer.
That's a good career comp, actually.
Yeah, and I would say Embiid's probably achieved more than Tracy McGrady. So
because of the MVP.
MVP and like winning some rounds in the playoffs. Tracy McGrady never won a round until he joined the Spurs.
That's true.
So
I feel like T-Mac, prime T-Mac was more respected by the youth and his peers than Embiid is.
He was a gamer.
Yes. I think Embiid is a Hall of Famer, but I think like the Hall of Fame is already bastardized. Like it feels like everybody gets it. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? If I score 20 tomorrow on pickup, like I'm gonna be on the ballot next time. But I feel like he doesn't feel like a Hall of Famer. As weird as that sounds, like he doesn't feel like a Hall of Famer to me. But there's gonna be guys who have achieved less than he has. Like I think DeRozan's going in the Hall of Fame.
Gobert's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like
so.
Yeah, by all those comparisons, I guess it makes sense then that he would be.
Yeah,
doesn't feel like that when you haven't won and you haven't had that team success.
It's not the Hall of Fame in your heart.
Yes,
I feel you.
And then last thing is, how do you think he'll be remembered? Because I think that how he's remembered in the present is we're in the midst of all the injury stuff going on. Like everything feels really bad. But how do you think he'll be remembered, say 10, 15 years from now by the next generation?
I don't think the youth is going to really respect him like that. Because I think that goes with how your peers view you. And I don't feel like his peers, especially now that there's podcasts, there's 30 for 30s, there's all these docs, nobody's going to talk about Embiid.
Yeah, what would his 30 for 30 look like?
It's going to look crazy too now because his position, his age range, and how he's viewed in dominance has all been overtaken by this guy in Serbia. So that's going to overshot his legacy.
And on top of it, I think the guys at his position who he may have been ahead of are all going to already have had, but will have more success. Like someone like Karl Anthony Towns. He's been to a conference finals.
Yeah.
He's going to continue to have success with the Knicks. Anthony Davis has a championship. Jokic has a championship, multiple MVPs.
Yeah.
So I think when you compare him to the guys at his position in his era, he'll be like right there with Gobert. And Gobert may have success going forward. He's been to conference finals as well, so Gobert's ahead of him technically too.
Yeah, I think if you're a Sixers fan, maybe you'll like him still. But like if you're looking back to like the 90s, early 2000s, like just the old school basketball, back when like it was just like it was way tougher. Like you just felt like guys were out there like putting it all on the line. Like this guy's like at the beginning of the season before they even started said he wasn't going to play in back-to-back nights. Like if you look like what would a guy like Kobe be saying when he hears that in his locker room? I don't even think he's like talking to him.
He's currently turning.
Yeah. Currently in his grade.
Yeah.
I think I'd hate when they call players soft for not playing because I personally think most players would play if they can. But I'll never forget, this is the last thing I'll say, Doc did an interview with Bill Simmons right after he left the job at the Sixers. and he was saying he had to convince Embiid to play most nights.
Oh,
And he said Embiid would come into the locker room and be like, "I have a headache, Doc." And Doc is like,
Disgusting.
I
"You
can't-
got to play, man."
yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, I'm kind of sore." It's like, "No, you got to play."
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think like hearing Doc say that about Embiid, that's what it felt like watching, and to have that confirmed doesn't feel good, because as someone like Paul George, who's also not having a great year, I know he's playing through
Showing
a bunch
up.
of stuff.
Yeah,
he's not playing
exactly.
great, but he's still getting on the court and playing.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Embiid is actually, I don't want to say soft, but is kind of matching what people think about him
Yeah.
doesn't feel good.
And that's a leader on your team. Like he should be, right?
Yeah.
You want your leader like that who's not showing up. Like, yo, you got to play hurt. Like you're a professional athlete.
Look at Kyrie last night.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Like Embiid would never do that. Like-
No, he's still on the court laying down.
Oh my
Shameful,
goodness.
bro. Shameful.
Oh, rough.
As a Liberian, you brought shame to the African community.
Ooh.
Oh,
You have to bring Africa into it.
yeah.
Crazy. You didn't want to play for us either. We're good to go into TV and film, guys?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Listeners, I know that you guys all have movies that are near and dear to your heart. Maybe it's something nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe it's something that you just watched in your childhood that you knew deep down in your soul was bad when you watch it in adulthood, but it still has a special place in your heart. So I want to ask the man them, is there a bad movie that you feel in your heart is good to you, but you know it's bad?
That I know I feel is good, but people think it's bad.
Can I give you an example to get you guys warmed up?
Yeah.
Pause. All right. So some of the movies that I watched that I was like, yo, these movies are actually trash, but I love watching them. Anaconda,
Okay, that's a good example.
Yeah.
Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the 90s, there was a Batman movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
Oh
yo.
my goodness.
I'm with you on that
With
one.
Poison Ivy. Like, it was a terrible movie, but fuck, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Street Fighter. There was a Street Fighter movie way back in the day in the 90s that was
Wow.
absolutely garbage. I remember renting the
You're
VHS.
standing on that one?
Yeah. Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage as well.
Yes.
Very terrible movie.
Yes.
He has a couple like that.
Yeah, so
Face Off.
Face Off is another one, yeah.
Face
for
Off is
sure.
rough. I actually have two. One is Little Man.
Sandler?
Wayans, Wayans
yeah.
Bros.
Wayans Bros.
Oh, where he's the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
That's one. And then it's funny because at the time I didn't love this movie, but as I got older, I'm like, maybe there's something here. Is American Pie, Bandicamp in particular.
Oh, Bandcamp was bad.
I was like, maybe this is a little comedic touch here, but now I'm like, that movie was just straight bad. Like, I don't know why I thought it was decent, but those are the two that I think of like people hate on them, but I think they're decent. But I think most of the movies that I like really, really like, most of the time are pretty decent.
And they always end up being comedies too.
Yeah.
Like the good ones that in your heart are good, but they're actually bad, they always end up being comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like the other American Pies, or they're all like in the same
The
boat?
first
They're
one
all
was
in the-
good to me.
They're all in the same boat. Like
I like the first
Damn,
one.
I like them all.
They're not good movies, but
the first one is the most like an actual movie.
Yeah.
yes.
That's
They
the
were
thing.
trying in the first one.
Yeah. The first one's almost like an actual movie. The rest of them is kind of like from bit to bit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like American Pie holds a special place because it was so we had like my mom was away and like my older cousins were over, so it was like one of those movies that you watch you shouldn't be watching at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this is badass, dude. And you just felt like so rugged watching it. So
yes.
that'll hold a place in my heart as well.
That was a booty call for me. I don't know if you remember Booty Call.
I remember.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know the movie.
Yeah.
Anything else you got, Chris? That's like a bad movie that you like love to watch.
Oh yeah. I got one. I don't know if you guys seen it. Over the Top.
No.
So Over the Top is oh my god, Rocky. Oh my, Sylvester Stallone, but he's an arm wrestler, and he
Just-
basically takes a kid and goes on tour and arm wrestling competitions the whole time.
That's crazy.
It's
no, it already looks like shit from
Yeah,
there.
from the picture,
But
it
it's
looks
like-
horrible.
it's pretty. Yeah, it's not crazy, but
But you have fun watching it.
you got to.
I'm not mad at that.
Another one I will say, which kind of honestly, I think people might be because they remade it. The original Roadhouse.
Oh, I watched both.
Have you?
So I never watched the original growing up.
Yeah.
But then when they made the Jake Gyllenhaal one, I watched it on Prime. And then I went back and I watched the original. It's not terrible
It's
to
not.
me.
I agree.
But It's not the greatest movie ever.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it, but which part is the wildest part in the movie? You'll know it.
Roadhouse?
Think about it.
Probably one of the bar fights.
No.
Which
There's another great.
the original?
The original. Think about at the
Was
end.
this when they're at the house and the
and he's
antler?
fighting. No,
and
he's fighting the guy by the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
And what does
By
he
the
do?
water. Oh, wait.
What does he
This
do?
is at night, right?
Yeah. What does he do?
Fuck. And it was the piece of shit guy. I remember.
Yeah. It was a dickhead.
Fuck. What did he do? They were facing each other and he did something.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
He rips the guy's throat
Yes,
out.
that's
and
what it
kills
was,
him by ripping his throat out.
Come on.
And he like kicked him in the water after
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
I remember the polar bear landing on one guy at the in the house.
Crazy.
It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yeah, like, it's funny. The reverse is a movie that like you thought was bad, and you realize everyone thinks it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Apparently, people think that's a classic.
Yeah.
When I watched that the first time, I was like, "This is horrible." Like, nothing's happening in this movie.
There's a lot of movies like that.
Yeah, especially like I feel like older movies where like say you saw it back before when movies were just the technology wasn't up there.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I feel like if you were around, it's a nostalgia thing. If you're older and you were around when it came out, you might feel better about it. But like trying to go back and watch certain old movies, I'm like, it's just not.
So I don't like the critically acclaimed movies, and then I go and watch like the Oscars, and the movies that win Best Picture most of the time I'm not really feeling, or whoever got Best Actor, Actress, like I'm not really feeling that film.
I got one more for you guys if you guys have seen it. Mel, who is it? It's another Nicolas Cage movie. Have you guys ever seen Con Air?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Con Air. Yeah, the
Con Air.
VHS for Con Air, yeah.
I love that part when he's just like saying this, like, this is Con Air. Like, just classic.
I love when they say the title of the movie.
Yeah. No, I think Con Air is good. Like,
Yeah?
I think it's good.
I do, but I feel like most people wouldn't agree. But I'm glad you do.
But I watched it recently, so I guess I didn't see it at the time.
Nice.
But like when I watched it recently, I was like, this is actually not bad at all. But again, that movie would never be made today.
No.
That's what I see when I watch it. I'm like, not happening today. Not a chance.
You know what? I'm going to keep going. I got to stop. I was just
Yeah,
going to say,
tell me, what's
Steven
up?
Seagal has a lot of those.
No, he has like
ones.
100 of them.
Yeah.
That's
for
his whole like discography.
For sure.
Right.
Jet
That's his
Li.
style.
A lot of these
Under
fighting
Siege.
stars, yeah. Jet Li has a lot. Jackie Chan has a lot too.
Oh my God. Rush Hour. This may be a whole different segment, but Rush Hour is a rewatch. Some of the jokes in that, you're like, not even flying today. There's a whole section where they had Jackie Chan saying the N-word.
Yeah.
It's like not even a thing. Then Jackie Chan just kicks everybody once and they just fall down.
Even Chris Tucker's hella racist.
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
movie,
like-
too.
When he's doing all,
And it's like that's the thing is some of these fight, and I guess fight scenes have like evolved now to like the John Wick level. But back in the day, Jackie Chan hit this guy one time in the side of his face and he just stays down.
Yeah, fuck.
And then he walks by him 10 minutes later. I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
Best fight scene in the Rush Hour movies is at the brothel.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually well choreographed. But most of the
Yeah.
movies, Jackie Chan's giving him like you just faints at him and the nigga will drop. Yeah.
You're like, all right, like
he fell before he punched him.
no, 100%. Nah. That might be a different ranking we do one day of like these kind of movies.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I tried to watch some of the Oscar movies. I didn't see a bunch of them. I felt like a little attachment to some of them because some of them premiered at my theater at TIFF. So I said, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I've won an Oscar now." But everyone was upset about Honora winning, and I saw someone say on Twitter, they're like, "I liked Honora, but I didn't think it deserved any of the awards." Well, how do you feel about some of these films being Oscar baity?
I don't like Oscar bait movies because it just ruins the actual feeling of me being immersed in the film. So that is one of the things, like me potentially in the future directing, I'm trying to avoid making my film forced to be looked at awards or looked at festivals. Like I just want to make a good movie. So I don't like when I watch those types of movies because it just feels like it's too, like they're trying to tug on your heartstrings too much.
Yes.
Or they're trying to tell too strong of a story instead of building the characters up. Like I just don't like that feeling when I watch movies.
It's contrived.
It's contrived, yes. It insists upon itself.
And I think too, sometimes you notice it almost as it's happening. Like my thing is when there's a scene where someone has like too long of a monologue,
Yeah.
and they've raised their voice multiple times.
Yelling doesn't mean good acting.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, and the movie I actually feel that way about the most is The Revenant.
I thought the
Leonardo
revenue was
DiCaprio.
solid though.
No, it was solid, but the way they were talking about it,
Yeah, they're trying to force the
they were
Oscar,
doing
for
a
sure.
lot. And I think it's the same with music, where how hard it was to make this film doesn't make it a good film.
Yes.
The same way how hard it was to make the song doesn't make it a good song. Just because you recorded, this audio outside on the pavement, if the song sound bad, it sound bad. So I think the Oscars does that a lot, where it's like it happened last year or 2 years ago with Oppenheimer, where they said the bomb scene with no special effects. Like, it's crazy when you see that and you think that, you're like, oh wow, like that's impressive. But if it looks good, it looks good. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's all we really care about. So the Oscars is probably the number one award show where they try and give credit to how hard something was to do and how
Not the
difficult
actual
it
quality
was.
of the
Yeah, and it's
product.
like the viewer just wants to enjoy
Because
it.
I did not watch I watched Amelia Perez. I didn't watch Honora as yet. And Amelia Perez was cleaning up at the Golden Globes, at the SAG. Like, I'm like, nah, it's not for me, bro.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked. I'm still kind of confused at how they're even choosing who wins some of these, honestly. But I do think that they make it a point not to choose the most popular film. I think that's a big, big thing.
I agree with that.
They don't.
I have more. Sorry, go ahead.
Now, they don't want to choose the most popular film, and it's like they want to choose a film that the people in the room won't be happy with.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like and sometimes you try to be like too artsy with it.
Yes,
and it's just like overkill. It's like it's the same thing with music. Like it's the same thing with
100%.
like, it's like nobody cares how you made it. We just care how it sounds, or how it
Exactly.
looks.
When it comes to visual media, I prefer watching the Emmys as an award as opposed to the
Agreed.
Oscars personally, because I think television is just on a different level right now. Like, you have shows like we mentioned, Severance.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched season 2, episode 7 is one of the best directed performances that I've ever seen. Like, the director for that, they found her as her first directing job, and it was one of the most beautiful episodes of television I ever watched.
Yeah.
Then even animation has great direction now these days. Like, you look at shows like Arcane that I mentioned earlier that has really good direction. So I look forward to the Emmys. Like, Ted Lasso's a comedy, but it's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Ted Lasso is really good. When you see arena shots and some of the other things that they do and the themes that they have in that, I get more enjoyment now watching quality television than I do from film.
Less pretentious.
Yeah. It doesn't insist upon itself.
Yeah. I think TV we've said this before, TV is definitely ahead of film.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis. And it's really getting to a point where stars in TV are getting film roles, because film still pays the big bucks. Like, that's
for sure.
That will always be the case. But you're seeing people who are doing well in TV become movie stars.
I heard the show on Disney Plus with Sterling K. Brown, Paradise.
Yeah.
I heard it's amazing.
I'm actually going to start it tonight. Someone told me the finale is out right now, and that they're excited to watch it. So I'm like, okay.
Let us know next episode. Let us know how you feel about it.
Everyone is hyping it up, so I got to see it. But it's like that's the tell of how big TV is, because he was in This Is Us, which was a huge TV show.
Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of good movies, and now is doing another TV show. That was never the case before.
100%.
It's like Will Smith was in TV first, did all these movies, never went back to TV. Now you see people kind of going back and forth.
Yeah. I think there's more creative freedom from actors. That's something I'd love to chat with the actor about.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's more creative freedom for you to act as freely as you need to within television. And the normal season of a quality TV show is probably going to have 4 or 5 different directors. So you're going to see multiple creative decision-making, producing going on, compared to a film where it's like one linear idea. You know what I mean?
And the TV probably gets more buzz, because I think like we don't have that many movies that are a new idea.
Yeah.
That the whole world community watches at once. Like, I think of the 2 biggest movies that were in the Best Picture category, Dune 2 and Wicked, are not new ideas.
True.
Dune 2
Old
is
IPs.
Yeah, Dune 2 is a remake from a book, and Wicked is a play that's been around forever.
And the play and that book, they both probably came out in the 50s or 60s.
Right. So it's like these TV shows are brand new ideas that are coming to us. We're like, oh my, I never even thought of this before.
Severance. Who the fuck thought of that?
Yeah.
I go to work and I'm a different person. It's so basic, but so good.
So I think that's what I think movies are missing. But I think what TV has is us giving it a shot. I think we're breaking down right now. It's us giving TV a shot, because think about this. If you watch Severance and you get 2 episodes in, you're just sitting there on your couch and let's play. The next one we'll play. You'll give it a shot. Okay, I'm still into it.
Yeah.
And then you'll come and tell me. For a movie, there's not the opportunity to give a movie a shot.
perfect example now. So, you got something to say?
No, I was kind of just talking. I was actually going to kind of agree with the viewership of a TV show
Yeah.
to a movie. It's like you can tell a different story because it's like longer. You might get like 7, 8, 45-minute episodes. You can break it up. It's more palatable if you can't watch the whole thing at once.
That's why shows like Severance work so
Yeah.
well. All right. And the movie now, to flip it, what Adriel just said, I love it because watch this. There was a movie with Justin Timberlake called In Time.
Classic.
The movie is shit. But the idea of the movie is fucking fantastic.
Yep.
People are using time as a currency, so everybody's immortal.
Yep.
So now I pay you for your studio time 3 hours of my life, right? So if you go to 0, you're broke, you're dead. But everybody's essentially immortal. So you have to work for hours. So if I go to work or whatever, instead of making $25 an hour, I'm making 25 minutes an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how that concept works. But the movie was so garbage because it's just rushed thoughts, probably too many cooks in the kitchen. But if In Time was a television show, it would fucking kill.
That's a good example because I think I like that movie for how good the idea is.
The idea, yeah.
But it's like all the ideas in the movie, they have to like make them happen in this like an hour and a half. When in a TV show, every idea of how this like idea can manifest is its own episode, you know, because there's a part where he's trying to like, you know, convince this guy to give him some more time. That could be its own episode that takes 45 minutes and they dive into it.
Yep.
So you're absolutely right. I think they just have way more time to dive into these ideas. And it's funny because you see certain directors like Christopher Nolan, their movies are always long and they feel more latitude to just dive into these ideas. And I think like that's maybe where certain directors are like, I'm making a blockbuster or I'm trying to like engage fans. But there's certain directors that we see or certain movies where it's like, we're going in regardless. Like Marvel, I think, is like that. I was telling you Captain America. It's like, for Marvel movies, we're going in regardless.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can take us wherever you want to take us.
Yeah, Black Cap. Let's do it.
We're in. Whether we like it or not, we're in. I think, again, Christopher Nolan is one of those directors where it's like, he's just going to take us into some different world. We might not agree with it like in The Tenant, but we're going to go all the way with it. So I think movies can tell a story in a way that TV shows can't. But I think that there kind of has to be like a patience in telling a movie story where it's like, take the time to develop it, explain it to us, let us be immersed, and then go into it. Don't just dive into it because you feel like you don't have enough time to get into all these things.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a nice little deep dive for everybody. Yeah. Movies and televisions. You guys tell us what you're more comfortable watching. I know the movie industry is slowly dying, at least post-COVID, but we got a lot of good television shows.
Someone made a comment about that at the Oscars. They did a whole speech and they were like, theaters need to stay. We need theaters. I agree. Love a VIP theater.
Yeah, I wonder if COVID is part of the reason for that because people are at home, they're binging TV shows, they're watching them.
Bro, look how
in the
fast we're
streaming
getting.
culture, right? Like,
look how fast we're getting movies that leave the theater. I remember back in the day, a movie would leave the theater at, say, a movie came out Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
we're not watching that at home until like November.
Yeah.
Now, if a movie comes out on Valentine's Day, we're watching that like March 4th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's late.
Yeah.
If the movie's bad, we're watching it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, facts. Nah, it's
shit's crazy.
I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know. Like, do you agree with us that TV is ahead of movies? And what are your worst movies that you guys love that we hate? Because I'm sure there's a bunch we didn't name. So please, I want to get some new bad movies to watch.
You know what we could do? We could pick like a bad movie and then watch it and then review it.
I'm not mad at that.
You know,
comments.
Let us know.
Pick one or let them pick it, and whatever one gets the most likes.
Okay,
something like that.
I'm with that. Okay, so I hope they choose something decent because there's a lot we can get something crazy.
We can do some movie reviews on here. I think that's something new for us. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, fingers crossed.
All right, guys. Awesome. Damn. 72 episodes of the Mayor's Office podcast. I love the fact that we just keep hitting y'all with content. Y'all niggas thought we'd be dead at episode 12. Joke's on you. We gave you 55 more.
Wow.
And we're not gonna stop, man. I seen that 100 mark, man. I'm seeing that 100 mark, and I really want to eclipse it, man. I want to show all you motherfuckers out there, everybody that ever doubted me, Miss fucking Williams in grade 6. I'm gonna show you when I get to episode 100. I'm gonna send it to you. You are probably 68 right now. I've been doing the math. I'm gonna send you the podcast.
Yeah, when you were in grade 6, you said, Ralph, you'll never do a podcast.
Ralph won't be shit.
Podcasts weren't around at the time.
Joke's on you, bitch. I make 6 figures.
Hey.
All right.
Whoops, wrong sound effect.
And you guys already know how we rock. We do the animation suggestion. We also have our non-rap suggestion. Chris may potentially have a creator showcase. We've given him 3 months to find one. So hopefully he's been able to find one.
He's going to use himself.
1992s, come to me. Give me business. My animation suggestion this season just finished. Dragon Ball Daima. This is the last written project from Akira Toriyama. He has since passed last year. Very, very decent. I wouldn't say it's amazing. I'm not going to overhype it, but it's a decent adaptation of Dragon Ball. It's like in between Dragon Ball Z and Super, but it's an alternate timeline. Some things are going on, some shenanigans, new transformations, new vibes. So it's on Netflix. There's not a lot of Dragon Ball products on Netflix. So for you guys to sit down and watch that, it is available for you. If you have a girlfriend that wants to Netflix and chill with you, you want to force her to watch anime, or you just live by yourself, whatever you want to do, watch Dragon Ball Daima. Cool. And next we have our non-rap suggestion. I would love for the music head to take the lead on this.
This is a group that I literally just heard of. They have a new album out in 2025. And it might be up there for my album of the year so far. At least top 5. That's Tokyo Tea Room. The song is called Tell Me How.
What's the vibe? What's the vibe?
Are you familiar with Men I Trust?
No.
Chris from Men I Trust?
Yeah.
They're similar to Men I Trust, but a little more groovy. Like a little more groovy than Men I Trust. Not as upbeat, but very, very chill. Like you could play this whole album front to back, no skips. Like very, very, very chill. Like if you're trying to like turn up and raise your blood pressure, this is not the album for that. Okay. But if you're trying to like, chill out, calm.
So this is after the Larry June.
This definitely after the Larry June. Like these can go back to back.
Okay.
Yeah, these can go back to back.
Nice. I like that. Chris, what do you got?
So I randomly stumbled across this on my Instagram feed. It's like a folk kind of country vibe. Cassius, Culpepper, Talk With Me, latest single. It's pretty cool, pretty chill. It's kind of feels like an emotional song. But yeah, it was cool little vibe. Cool little vibe. Maybe for the summer around like a fire or something.
Okay.
How's your summer playlist looking, Chris?
Honestly, I haven't really added much to it, to be honest. So I got to start. Now we're starting to get there. The moods are changing. The vibes are changing. So I don't know. My absolute bangers for the boys podcast. I mean, playlist. That's on lock. But that's like golf course. That's like, midnight. Couple beers in the bank. You want to feel something. You want to sing Seal maybe. That's kind of.
Kiss from a rose.
That's a Seal, man.
I think the podcast that's most necessary for the summer is the one when like your sunroof is open. Like you need like a sunroof open playlist for sure. I like that.
Man, Larry June is actually great summer.
Yes.
Man,
for that.
This is the Larry June podcast. This is the Larry
June podcast.
Yeah, Creator Showcase.
Glorilla's already on a level, man.
Yeah, Creator Showcase is Larry June.
Don't kill me. My non-rap suggestion, big song. If you know, you know. Sampled 1 billion times.
Yeah.
Made it, crossed the river, crossed the lake, crossed the water from Yad, made it to the States. Sampled 1,000 times by New York artists, Atlanta artists, just any type of artist you could think of. Junior Red, One Blood.
One Blood.
I think the 2 biggest people that have sampled this, I would say Game.
Yeah, for sure.
Game sampled this. I feel like someone in New York sampled this that I can't remember right now. Chris is going to pull it up. But this is a... Okay. That was not One Blood, but yeah, Junior Red, One Blood. That's my non-rap suggestion. Chris, I'm actually very curious. I feel like somebody else big sampled this as well.
I can't think of who you're talking about.
So... yeah, The Game was the first one that came up. Wu-Tang sampled it.
Oh, okay, that's
Masters of Work.
This was a different time though. I miss this time of like the reggae, dancehall, hip hop crossover.
Yeah.
Please, we need to bring that back. But the rappers are not good enough these days to do that respectfully.
They're sampling everything but reggae.
But they don't rap well enough to do that. That's honestly what it is.
True.
They don't have the skill level to do this. But I think at 2 records, this is one of them. As well, sorry, 3 records. This is one of them. This Is Why I'm Hot remix.
Ooh.
Oh, remember that? That
was
was something. And then Baby Sham, Alicia Keys' Ghetto Story.
Yeah.
That was something too. So it's like
that was one of them ones right there.
like come on. So it's like we don't have any of that anymore. I thought with Vybz Kartel coming back home, we would get a little more energy in, but I think these American rappers just aren't good enough. So
Maybe your UK artist will do it during Wireless Fest. Maybe Vibes will take a day off and you'll go record with Santan.
well, Vybz Kartel, Unknown T, and Digga D already do have a song together
Okay.
called Gotcha. So that's one, but we need more. And that was when Vybz Kartel was still in the bin. So
By the way, with Vibes, looking really healthy, man. I saw him at the Grammys compared to like when he first came out. And
oh, he's at the Grammys.
yeah, he's at the Grammys. He was talking to Kai Cenat. He was out there. He did Drink Champs recently. Like he's looking really, really healthy. So big shout outs to Vibes.
Yeah, much better. I'm happy to have him out doing press because he's one of the last like real goats we have.
Yeah.
That's active. Like if you think about all genres, all like groups,
Yeah.
he's the most active goat we have.
And he does media really well, bro. Like his speech, like how he speaks to American audiences, like it's clean. Like it's very, very clean. Like
yeah.
so shout outs to Vibes for sure. Like he's someone when I listen, sorry to cut you. He's someone when I listen to his interviews, I'm like, damn, like this guy, he's very thought provoking with how he speaks and like he listens when he's talking. Like he was talking to Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat's like fucking 20, 30 years younger than him.
Yeah.
And he's speaking to him properly. He's like, yo, where's Ray, man? Like, where's he at? Like, he's up to date with what's going on. And I was like, damn, all right. Vibes is not one of them stuck up, artists. So.
He was waiting for his time. Like, think he was away for so long when he was still like the hottest. Like, that's why I'm saying he's the only like a real go out is we've never seen someone be away this long and like remain the top dog. Because no one surpassed him as a king of dancehall.
True.
And he was gone for 13 years. Like in other scenarios, even when Wayne went to jail, Drake stepped up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've never seen someone
13 years is a long time. If Drake or Beyonce, like some of the big dogs go to jail for 13 years, somebody's taking their spot.
Taking their spot. And he's still the top dog. And I think he's kind of bridging the gap because I think someone like Buju Banton is definitely more the old head you're talking about where he's like, I'm solidified. I'm just worried about me.
Yeah, facts.
I'm not going to go across. But Vibes is like moving and shaking with the youngins.
100%. All right, Chris. I tried to extend that Vibes talk to give you some time. What you got?
Larry June.
I was about to do
Larry June don't need our promo, yeah.
Larry June.
So 1990 Studios Creator Showcase. Oh man, honestly, I can't. I'm trying to think of them, but I think I used all the ones I had out. I'm trying to think of anyone new that I could think of.
Has a small amount of friends.
You know who the Creator Showcase
my friends
is?
just aren't like.
No,
they're all corporate.
I got one. The Creator Showcase.
Yeah.
Is Ralph, aka the Mayor. He has a new series coming. Stay on the lookout. He's gonna be doing some interviews with some big guests. That's the Career Showcase. Stay tuned. Stay tuned on the YouTube, on the interwebs, on the Instagram.
Self-promotion is crazy.
Come on.
I do have some interviews coming up in the next few weeks and stuff. Just going to be working on that. So definitely want you guys to tune in, man. I'm trying to, I want to aspire to be like my friend here, Adriel, He's one of the top dogs in the city, So
that's right.
I can't just keep the hype on me, I got to
that's right.
pass it over to my friends. Yeah. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to be recording it at 1990 Studios. So let's throw the hype on Chris as well. So shout outs to you guys.
Shout out the building.
Shout out everybody.
Shout out the city of Toronto.
Circle jerk.
Olivia Chow.
Yeah, we will not be the 51st state.
Yeah, there you go.
Canada not for sale.
72 episodes. Adriel, let these people know, man.
I appreciate everyone for making it this far into the episode. We don't take you for granted. If you love Ralph's anime suggestion, let us know. Let him know in the comments. If you watched it, let us know what you thought. If you hated it, all capitals. If you loved it, also all capitals. But find us on YouTube. Anyone listening to the podcast, listen, we respect you. We love you. Your body, your choice. But hop over to YouTube, okay? We're all dressed fly. This is what we do this for. Hop over to YouTube, okay? Follow us. Hit that post notifications on, that bell, so you know when we drop. Okay, find us on Instagram as well and on TikTok. We're dropping videos every single day, okay? So please tap in with us. And until next time, know yourself, know your worth.